And President Xi delivering his vision for the region, or did he?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, both the big superpowers, the United States and China, sort of making their pitches to Asia-Pacific nations for their visions for the future, for strategic cooperation as well as development cooperation. Obviously, Joe Biden is not here at APEC. He was at G20. He was at ASEAN in Cambodia. Xi Jinping has made the trip up north from Bali to Bangkok here today. He was here yesterday, and he's already met with Fumio Kishida. He's met with other leaders, and he was due to give a speech yesterday afternoon at the APEC CEO Summit ahead of the leaders gathering that starts today. We got an advance copy of that. It was canceled at the last minute, but we do have the verbatim. He says the Asia-Pacific is no one's backyard and should not become an arena for big power contests. No attempt to wage a new Cold War will ever be allowed by the power or by the times. So again, that's his pitch, and it was a similarly worded speech to what we've heard from the foreign minister Wang Yi earlier this year. Wang Yi, of course, has made a number of strategic meetings or visits to South Pacific islands, including striking that cooperation deal with the Solomon Islands. So there are, of course, lots of geopolitics. They are big down in the South China Sea. The United States is trying to counter China's moves in the Indo-Pacific region through its more recent trade agreement with 13 Indo-Pacific nations. That's called the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework Partnership. And that is something that Catherine Tai, the U.S. Trade Representative, is here trying to pitch. And we're going to get a speech later today from Kamala Harris, the Vice President. She is said to be giving a speech essentially defending Biden's Indo-Pacific strategy against critics who say it will not have lasting power or is not as dedicated, perhaps, as the Chinese vision for China's influence in this part of the world. So that's how we stand right now, Friday, first day of the APEC Leaders Summit.
Xi Jinping, Fumio Kishida, meeting there. What's expected to be the result of that? They have been far apart, and of course, Japan's been one of the countries very nervous about China's rising power, looking to potential military aggression, etc. Where do you think Xi Jinping stands on that, and how is this going to go now between these two leaders?
Obviously, there are legacy issues dating back to World War II between China and Japan. Japan is a staunch ally of the United States. Japan was obviously upset at the moves that were made by Beijing following Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan and then the war games and the encircling of Taiwan. It's a close issue to Japan. Japan is an island nation. So there's legacy issues here. Now, Xi and Kishida did meet late yesterday. They've already had their conversations, and essentially both sides agreed. Kishida and Xi agreed to work at their differences and to work at improving bilateral relations. Now, at the backdrop of this, I want to bring up Jacinda Ardern. She's the New Zealand Prime Minister. I had the opportunity to speak to her yesterday. I moderated a panel with her, and I won't say New Zealand is necessarily a neutral party, but she took a neutral tone yesterday and essentially said, be careful of world powers or politicians. She didn't name countries. She said, be careful of politicians trying to stoke fear at a time of high inflation and geopolitical tensions. Here's Jacinda Ardern.
Our openness is what has got us to the point where we have seen such rapid development for APEC economies. It is. And now for the next period, we have that opportunity again. We just need to bring more people with us. Inclusivity in our growth will be what actually allows us to continue on in this way. If we don't, we will have dissatisfied citizens and more politicians who stoke fear.
Another busy day here as APEC Leaders Summit begins 2 days of talks. Back to you, Heidi.